It's breakdown time. We gotta break this down right now. Ladies, gentlemen, fellow Titans out there, I was in the middle of my Mandalorian breakdown. Do check that out, but don't go away from this video just yet. And the Titans Season 4 Part 2 trailer is finally here. Finally here, and we have a release date of April 13th. It has been radio silence, but my goodness, have we got a lot to go over in this trailer full of really awesome footage for the final 6 episodes of Titans. And this is the final episode of the entire series. So this will be a very in-depth shot-by-shot breakdown. We have got tons to go over, including Joseph Morgan going full Brother Blood Ascended mode, Tim Drake's clean-looking Robin suit, Jason Todd's return, and just so much more. So if you go on to like this video, I would really appreciate your support. Hit that like button. It just helps this video grow out there a lot more on YouTube. And hey, if you want to be up to date with Titans, reviews, and everything like that, do consider subscribing if you're brand new. So before we get into the shot-by-shot breakdown, we do have an official synopsis for Part 2 detailing what to expect, so I may as well go over that first to help offer some more context of what we're going to explore with the footage in this trailer. So, in the mid-season premiere, the Titans, with the exception of Gar, are returned to the place they had vanished, the Temple of Trigon, only to find Sebastian and Mother Mayhem are no longer there. The Titans rush to find them before Sebastian summons his father Trigon, their pursuit leading them to a mysterious town whose populace is hiding a deep secret. Along the way, the Titans come across a prophecy that may require Corey to make a huge sacrifice to save the world, but Dick's feelings for Corey surface and he refuses to let her die. In the final episodes, the Titans enter into an epic battle to save both Corey and the world. Gar goes on a quest of self-discovery, attempting to find his true purpose and save his friends, and Rachel embraces darker powers while Connor, struggling with his Lex Luthor side, goes his own way to defeat Sebastian. Amidst all that, Tim and Star Labs guru Bernard's growing feelings for each other become increasingly difficult to resist, and when Bernard's life is threatened, Tim finally becomes the hero he has always strived to be. Alright, so first shot of the trailer, it picks up with Mother Mayhem saying to Sebastian that his transformation is now complete, and that his power will have no equal as he rises out of the blood pit in the Temple of Azarath. And he went in with clothes on, but he comes out topless. But notice how ripped Joseph Morgan is in this Brother Blood mode. Now, I believe if I remember correctly, that he mentioned that he wanted to hide his physique when he was in Sebastian mode, but behind the scenes, he was like grinding really hard in the gym just to get this really stronger physique to represent the transformation into Brother Blood that you can certainly see here. We hear him say, "My name is Brother Blood, and I'm gonna change the world." Now, even though the next scene we see right after that with the line of "My name is Brother Blood, I'm gonna change the world" is overlaid with Sebastian's eyes darkening into this sinister look, and he's using his roaring power. I think the line could be said in an episode when Sebastian and Mother Mayhem are potentially recruiting more people to the cause of the Church of Blood, as we do see them in a scene later on in the trailer in a church. Now, I will be connecting this scene that I'm talking about a little bit later to something else, as in this scene you can see that since Sebastian has ascended, it's almost like they want to show off these almost miracle-esque performances to rally more to the cause, but for a specific reason. More on that in a little bit. But back to this moment, and that I find very, very intriguing, in where we see Sebastian powering up, getting ready to release that like little rippling roar that we've only seen once in the final episode of Part 1, and we see Mother Mayhem right behind him, and he turns around in that same scene and seemingly releases it her way. Now, I do want to get this across. I'm not saying this is the case. I just like to entertain any random theory or speculation here, but I've always wondered if Sebastian could actually kill his mother, Mother Mayhem, as a bit of a play on the comics and how Brother Blood is a mantle that goes down in generations through the son killing the father. And again, you can literally see he turns around and sends it right her way. But knowing Mother Mayhem, she could probably deflect it with her staff and she'd be like, "Yes, my boy, very powerful Indeed. So this is where the trailer somewhat edits that roar into the roar, the first roar that we saw at the end of part 1, and exactly what that raw power, I don't know what else to call it, is capable of. And if you guys remember, all the Titans disappeared as a result of Sebastian releasing this power. However, Gar, he teleported away in a different way, seemingly going into the red. Now, for those of you who don't know, the red, just like the green with Swamp Thing, is an elemental force that connects to all animal life, whereas the green is an elemental force for Swamp Thing that connects to all plant life. The trailer then shows the immediate aftermath of Gar teleporting with the red energy from the Temple of Azarath into this kind of darkly lit, cavernous location. We're then presented with, I believe, the same character Gar interacted with at the end of part 1, who mysteriously appeared and said that so many people wish to speak with him and that he needs to listen. We can't forget that Gar, Beast Boy, has been having visions all season long so far and connections to the red, and this character seemed to be helping him somewhat get inducted into the world of the red. So here he is again, except in costume. Now, if you've been following my videos for a while, I've gone over how it's been speculated that this character is Freedom Beast. And now that we get this full look here, he certainly matches up to that of the source material. Now, Freedom Beast is also a champion of the red, just like Animal Man and Vixen, of whom were name dropped by this guy in part 1 as well. And he uses an elixir and this helmet, and lo and behold, look at what he has around his neck and on his head. So I think it's safe to assume that this is the same character. Now, Gar asks in the trailer where the Titans are, because again, they teleported in a completely different way, and he kind of dipped out to the red right before that happened. And as you can probably guess, Gar here, with what we're seeing, is going to go on a bit of an educational awakening with regards to his powers from the red, his connection to that place, his part to play in all of this, and how it could actually help save the world from Brother Blood's plan. Next up in the trailer, it addresses where the Titans were sent to, and Dick and Corey wake up in the same bed together. I bet a lot of Dickory stans are loving that. And as Corey says, apparently we live here. And it's revealed from Bernard that they've been sent to a different dimension entirely. Now, honestly, I have no idea if this different dimension allows them to say hi to Stargirl. I don't think that's going to be related. We know that somehow Gar is going to interact with Stargirl and possibly some other characters as well. I don't know if where the Titans have been sent to links to all the voices of torture that Gar has been hearing. It's certainly left to interpretation right now, so I'd love your theories. Up next, the trailer then visits Superboy, of whom has gone to visit Sebastian. Now, we've heard that Sebastian and Superboy will have quite the interesting scenes together in part 2, and this definitely shows that. And Superboy says, in full Lex Luthor mode more than ever, that the Titans aren't his friends. Now, a couple of things I want to say here is that given that we have 6 episodes to go, don't expect like a full-on Brother Blood rage-out cool episode right away in episode 7. Now, having said that, I don't think it's going to be as slow of a burn as part 1 was, but just, again, don't expect right from the get-go Brother Blood's suit going ham. It's still going to build up to that a little bit, but certainly the pacing will be going a lot faster from here on out. And I'm also saying this because the fact that we see Sebastian talking with Connor, seemingly, in my opinion, still looking a little bit conflicted, even though he's inevitably going to go down full send on the path of Brother Blood. He might be trying to work things out a little bit with everything that he's just done at the end of part 1. We then see Sebastian and Connor in another location, and you may recognize this because it looks as though it's in LexCorp, in Lex's office, of which Connor technically owns and has inherited now. Now, he says, "I do things Titans don't do," and we see him grab this man's face, and I'm pretty sure he murders him by heat visioning the living crap out of his face, which, you know, I think this might be controversial among some fans with how hardcore Superboy might go when embracing more of his Lex Luthor side. It's going to kind of get a bit Game of Thrones, I think, but given that Superboy has half the DNA of Superman and half of Lex Luthor, and now he's gone into that other side and there's psychological reasons behind it, I'm certainly looking forward to this. Now, this is just a random theory I'm going to shoot in the dark, but I wonder if initially Sebastian, despite having gone in the blood pit, still isn't 100% committed in this moment, and Connor still wants to prevent the world from ending. It's just in Lex Luthor mode, and will literally do anything and everything to stop it, which obviously isn't by the Titans rulebook. So perhaps they're working together a little bit before Sebastian goes fully committed into Brother Blood mode, but I would love your theories there as well. So the next part the trailer gives to us is a peek at Raven, of whom we can't forget got her powers back in the final episode of part 1, and when she did, she seemingly graduated to the Titans adaptation of White Raven. Here we see that it looks like she's meditating a little bit, but she's also with another character, none other than her half-brother, Sebastian. We hear Raven then say that we have the same blood, he's connected to me, feeding on me, I don't have much time. Now it's also important to note that the audio of that is cut from 2 completely different scenes or more, so it's really hard to know for sure what's going on, but given that they're siblings, it is possible that Sebastian can equip her power in this mission, especially with the blatant link that they have as seen in the next scene, as the trailer shows that when Raven is cut, the same wound appears on Sebastian's arm. In between this, we see this kind of dark, gooey-esque substance crawl across the floor, possibly a similar thing to Raven's power, as if you remember, before it went back into her in the final episode of part 1, it has that kind of gooey, black, smoky substance. And also you can see Raven in the background of this very shot as the substance crawls away from her to the boot of this character, which could be Sebastian, but it's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. And then next in the trailer, we see Sebastian again asking what's next to Mother Mayhem, seemingly ready, I guess, to go all in on the Church of Blood's plans. And she says, "We bring back your father," which, yeah, and if you want to link that to this very quick clip that plays in the trailer later on, we see a very Trigon-looking hand coming out of the blood pit in the Temple of Azarath. So there could be a moment in whether he either does or almost returns. And yeah, I don't know what else that would be other than Trigon's hand. But if we do see Trigon again, I hope that the CG is just a bit better than season 2. Now after this in the trailer, if you guys remember, I briefly mentioned earlier that I wanted to continue this on a little bit later in the video. We seemingly saw and do see Sebastian and Mother Mayhem in this church. Now Sebastian seems to be pulling this kind of horn out of this bowl, which looks like it could be filled with something that is very lava looking, and he's completely somewhat unharmed by it, but you can kind of tell it's lava because it's just dripping on the floor and burning. And we see this horn is being blown later on, and it could be a very important tool to signify that once the sound is heard, it's kind of the beginning of the end. So expanding on that theory I teased earlier, given the scenes we're about to discuss in just a moment, it is possible that they're both trying to recruit more people, as they might need as many people as they can to drain or sacrifice, if you will, in order to bring back Sebastian's father, Trigon. But let's take a pause on that for a second, because we've heard for the longest time that Curran Walters' Jason Todd would be popping back up for an episode this season, and the way he does is through Tim Drake and him training together. Now, to be honest, this kind of makes sense to me in terms of, as a part of Tim Drake's Robin journey, he might be sent to the former Robin to have the mantle be officially passed on, if you know what I mean. Even though he's Red Hood, that sounds like a nice story to explore to me, in a similar fashion as to how in season 1, Jason spent some time with Dick Grayson. And up next, we can see that Jason put some music on. Tim says, "Let's see what you've got," with his bow staff that he's been learning how to fight with just a little bit, and quickly gets shown up by Jason immediately. Now, the next shot in the trailer teases Jason in his Red Hood suit, saying, "You learn by doing." So this obviously shows that he's still active as Red Hood, which I think most of us assumed anyway. He's no longer a Titan. He can't be a Titan anymore given what he did, even though it was under the influence of Scarecrow's anti-fear toxin stuff, but he's still doing his thing, most likely in Red Hood and the Outlaws mode. So I actually wouldn't be remotely surprised if we get like a couple of lines hinting that this is what he's up to, and that he could have possibly banded up with some other heroes or outlaws, if you know what I mean, which I think a lot of people would like to hear a reference like that, because I remember one point in time there was a rumor that we could be getting a spin-off show. So since that isn't happening anymore, or may never have been happening in the first place, it would be cool to know that headcanon-wise, that's what he's been up to. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get to see Jay Cargo in his Tim Drake Robin suit, and it looks so good. Titans always knocks it out the park for the most part with their super suits, and it looks so good. Like, so good, so accurate, yet innovative on the source material design. We've even got like a singular photo, like promo shoot of Jailer Cargo in like a costume fitting of the suit as well, so you can have a little bit of a better look here, and it just... Well, what more can I say? Like, I mean, you might not like it, but I really, really, really do. Not to mention, it looks like we're getting our own kind of alleyway fight scene with Tim Drake's Robin, and I'm not sure if this scene in the rain is Tim going on a night in Gotham practicing on some criminals with Jason, or in some other scene entirely down the line, but I think that this looks fantastic, the action that we're seeing here. You could argue if it is with him and Jason, maybe he can reach out to Bruce, and Bruce can get him a suit, just like how Nightwing got his suit and whatnot. But I also like the little nod that they give to Tim Drake as he rises up in the rain in his Robin armor. Now, you may remember this shot, or a very similar shot in Season 1, as a certain other Robin rose up from a crouched position, because that was Dick Grayson in that alleyway scene, of which was quite controversial at the time, because it was that first scene in the trailer for Season 1 where he kind of went a bit ham and said screw Batman and whatnot. But still, it's a nice nod, and I do appreciate it, and this scene looks badass. So up next, this is kind of that part in the trailer where shots kind of go by pretty fast, so do bear with me as I try and make sense of all of this. So then we see Kory with her eyes lit up with her new powers that have been teased to be very powerful all season, just kind of staring at something. Now, I'm not sure what this is, and to be honest, it kind of looks like a close-up of a Stargate portal, but like, honestly, I don't know what's going on here. This is just very ambiguous, but we do know that Kory has some major things going down at the end of this season, as teased in interviews and the synopsis that we read out earlier. And we then cut to a cop looking at all of these ravens, I guess, fly across the sky, similar to how in Season 1, when Raven was believed to be the one in the prophecy who would end the world. It wasn't a great omen then, and it's certainly not a great omen now, with Sebastian ramping up with his power and his mission. But then towards the end of the trailer, we get some full-on major Brother Blood scenes. We see Sebastian all geared up in his awesome-looking Brother Blood suit, picking up that same horn he pulled out of that little lava cauldron thing, of which I covered earlier. But something I didn't mention is, could this actually be a horn from Trigon? I mean, I'm not sure, but if so, that could be a very, very powerful artifact to wield, and could be the beginning of opening the floodgates, so to speak. We then see him blow this horn, and it comes out with a very sinister noise. The trailer then cuts to this very cataclysmic looking weather in the sky, mixed with this dark power that looks similar to ravens. And Brother Blood then says, "Don't be afraid, they're all connected to me." Once again, going into my theory of perhaps he needs to be connected to a lot of people in order to bring back Trigon. And I love this next scene we see in the trailer with Sebastian, or Brother Blood, in the suit, just marching down this corridor. And I love the demeanor change Joseph Morgan has done here from Sebastian to complete and utter confidence when in Brother Blood mode. We see that his abilities have grown. He's just fleetingly, with ease, opening that door, and as it opens, there's this red mist in there. Now, as to what's behind that door in that red mist is anyone's guess, I suppose, but it is possible, as seen in the next shot, that they're doing this weird blood-esque experiments like we see with this poor person here. And perhaps the more people who are hooked up just like this, the more power that Brother Blood could possibly gain. And as we see in this shot that you're seeing on screen, after him saying they're all connected to me, he's essentially, in a very vampiric way, which isn't actually unusual for Brother Blood in the source material to be portrayed in a kind of vampiric way, drains this poor woman of seemingly her life force as she's kind of bleeding out from everywhere on her head. And as it happens, his eyes glow red and it looks like he's drunk on power. But not only that, look how many other people seem to be, I'm assuming, dead on the floor. And I'm pretty sure that this woman was the Star Labs tech we saw earlier this season monitoring Kory's powers, and the location itself does indeed seem to be Star Labs, so a lot of people might die here, and it looks like Bernard has been impacted by Brother Blood's harvesting, if you will, in these scenes. And then even more fast-paced clips go down in the trailer. We see Tim Drake in his Robin suit and Nightwing are tag-teaming Brother Blood, and I wonder if on the far left, and I'm pretty sure that this is right, we get a look at Raven trying to free Corey, as you can see her tied up there and linked to whatever Brother Blood's ultimate plan is. And again, it seems to be harvesting something from people, but also Corey's power. Now, this does match up to another shot we get in just a second's time, where we see a much better look at Corey hooked up to this thing. And I can see maybe what they're roughly going for here. All season long, they've been saying that she's insanely powerful at the beginning, only using a fraction of her power. And if she used all of it, it could actually kill her. So if there's a sinister plan to bring Trigon back, if Brother Blood could harness Corey's hyped up power to assist in his diabolical plan of bringing back Trigon, it looks like he's certainly trying to do that. But then again, an idea just occurred to me that, as per what the synopsis teased, that there's a sacrifice that Corey might need to make. Maybe she's trying to do this herself to kind of counteract what's going on here. And with Nightwing and Robin and White Raven trying to like tag team Brother Blood here, he might have gone in there to try and stop whatever Corey's doing, perhaps sacrificing herself to kind of counteract the Brother Blood Trigon summoning thing. And they don't want Corey to die, so they're maybe trying to get her to stop doing that. I really don't know, but that could certainly be a possibility as well, with everything we've heard that Corey might try to do, especially with her newfound power. So maybe instead of Brother Blood harvesting it, she's actually using it maybe to stop him, which could result in her death, but hopefully not. Another very fast-paced clip, so I'm going to slow-mo this because otherwise it would last 1.5 seconds, if that, is Brother Blood going full-on Avada Kedavra on someone, and I really can't wait to see Brother Blood use these powers and just decimate for a few minutes. It's going to be really intense, especially mixed with Joseph Morgan's, best talent being when he goes full-on destruction mode. And then right at the end of the trailer, more shots of action with Nightwing being all acrobatic, dodging some power coming his way. Tim Drake in his suit taking down some armored thugs here who seem to be keeping Brother Blood's operation protected, or maybe it's something else. And you can spot Nightwing and White Raven in the background here. And then, of course, there's a little team-up-esque looking shot of the Titans as the final shot in the trailer, as we see Gar, Starfire, Nightwing, Tim Drake's Robin, and White Raven standing there ready to go and face off whoever's on the other side of the camera. And it's a really good looking shot, and my god, does Jayla Cargo's Robin suit just look so clean. It looks so good, and the trailer looks so good. Like, again, say what you will about Titans, but like, this looks freaking awesome. I actually prefer that the season has taken a slow burn. I've been saying this the whole time, and that part 2 would ramp up the pacing and ramp up the entertainment more so than ever. Usually Titans in prior seasons does that right at the beginning, and people's critiques have been that it's kind of dwindled towards the midpoint to the third act of the season. Now they're kind of doing it in reverse, where things like really pop off towards the end, hopefully giving us that explosive final 6 episodes for the entire series coming to a close with season 4. So I think that's everything I've got to say about this, which has kind of been a lot, but the channel name is BobaTalks after all. Now it's time to hear from you. What did you think of the trailer? What did you think of what I had to say about it? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Expand upon what I've said? I really can't wait to read all of your comments. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel and the video through leaving it a like, a comment, maybe even consider sharing it on social media. That helps out a bunch as well. Do consider subscribing, obviously, to stay up to date with all good things like this, reviews, breakdowns of the episodes ahead. But I'm gonna love you and leave you now, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you fellow Titans in the next video. Goodbye.